UFC's International Fight Week is rumored to be headlined by Islam Makhachev and Ilia Topuria, and the co-main event, guys, yes, the co-main, Dricus Du Plessis versus Khamzat Chimaev. This is massive news. This could arguably headline two different pay-per-views, right? And nobody would even blink an eye. These are definitely two fights that could headline two pay-per-views. Well, apparently they're going to be on the same card, and I can understand why. However, this could all fall through now that it seems like Islam Makhachev might be declining the fight with Ilia Topuria, which we're also going to get into. Yes, we have guys like Justin Gaethje and Charles Oliveira and Arman Tsarukyan, of course, but outside of Arman Tsarukyan, I think Ilia Topuria should get that title shot, and he's probably the most deserving. I mean, he is a champion right now as of this moment, and it really could be a big fight, especially with how big Ilia Topuria has been becoming. This fight could, absolutely send him to another universe, and not only that, it's a pretty interesting matchup too, because you have Ilia Topuria, he has a good ground game, he's got power. We've seen Islam Makhachev struggle too. Both guys are on insanely long win streaks. So where did this news come from, right? This news came from Rasul Chamsodinov. Sorry if I'm butchering this name, right? But he was on Instagram Live. We're going to get into why he's so important, how he would actually know this information, because I believe he is reliable. He revealed the news that Islam Makhachev and Ilia Topuria is going to headline a card with the co-main event being Dricus Du Plessis and Khamzat Chimaev.
Topuria, Makhachev, l'équipe. Il y a Makhachev, Topuria, ils vont combattre la même soirée que Khamzat Chimaev. Comme ça, en juin. Soyez prêts. Les deux combats auront lieu le même soir pour les ceintures. Ça va être la plus grosse soirée de l'année du UFC. Khamzat contre le champion, frère. Du Plessis, là, je sais pas comment on s'appelle lui. Ça n'a pas été annoncé, mais ça a été dit par moi. Mais bientôt, ça va sortir, t'inquiète.
Now, who is this guy, right? This guy is the manager of Khamzat Chimaev, or at least he has a good relationship with him. He says he's a manager. There's also pictures of him and Khamzat Chimaev on his Instagram with comments from Khamzat, so they are definitely well acquainted, so we definitely should take this serious. This guy isn't just some, Joe Schmo. He is a manager in the MMA business who has close ties to Khamzat Chimaev. I'm not sure if it's his manager or not, so I would definitely take this serious at the very least. Like, at least have it in your brain, because this could happen. Now, hearing this, I find it both believable and a bit unbelievable, right, guys? Because number one, obviously, this is a strange thing to happen. Both guys, could headline different pay-per-views, so why would the UFC just waste this? Well, I will tell you exactly why, and it is the pay-per-view problem, right? Especially over the past weekend, we have heard news that ESPN Plus is not happy with the pay-per-view numbers that the UFC has brought into the company, and it's true. I mean, in the age of piracy, you could literally look up any Russian link, or any link really, and you could find basically the pay-per-view at that definition, literally still high quality, and you're paying essentially nothing. So what is the point for fans? Like, why would fans pay $80, which is an insane amount of money, first of all, for a pay-per-view when they could just watch it for free? So it's really hard to make fans buy it when, they're able to access it for free anyway, and the company's not going to make any profit, or I should say ESPN's not going to make any profit. So something that could really drive up pay-per-views for this last year of their deal, right? Because obviously the UFC is in talks to sign with different companies over the past week, and we heard Netflix is most likely going to be the next home for the UFC, which I would love to talk about at some point in a future video. But if the UFC comes out with multiple pay-per-views that are getting 1 million buys, that is going to be huge for the company, right? Especially if they're able to make the John Jones-Tom Aspinall fight, especially if they are by somehow and some grace of miracle able to make Conor McGregor fight. That is potentially 1 million pay-per-views this year alone. That is a really big deal for the UFC, and that's what they need to be in the headlines right now. In a fight between Islam Makhachev and Ilia Topuria with a co-main event of DDP and Khamzat, that's going to do it. That might not be 1 million pay-per-views. I'm not exactly sure how much, they're selling. Obviously, they're pretty, quiet about how much they're selling, but it does seem strange seeing that Abu Dhabi is going to be in October, and what will headline that? Are they just going to do Pereira Magomed on Kalaya for that? I'm not exactly sure. I also wonder if Khamzat's history of pulling out of fights has anything to do with this, especially with last year how International Fight Week turned out with, a last-minute disaster with McGregor pulling out, and it would also just make the fight that much bigger, because look, let's just say that Ilia Topuria goes out there and knocks out Islam Makhachev. I'm just going to say in the first round, just the most crazy thing I could think of. The fact that you have a stacked undercard behind it means that more people are going to be watching, more people are going to see Ilia Topuria beat Islam Makhachev, or whatever is going to happen, increasing either Islam Makhachev, or they're going to make Ilia Topuria a star. But whoever wins this fight, I think will be a star, especially if they get a finish. And there's a lot on the line, but as we know, we heard that there is a rumor, guys. Yes, sadly, the UFC gods couldn't let us fans be too happy, right? Because now we hear Islam Makhachev, Ilia Topuria might be off, and for a reason you guys might not think, because apparently Islam Makhachev has declined the fight. He's talked about this in the past, but he is saying Ilia Topuria does not deserve a title shot at all. And there's just so much that's dumb with this. Firstly, Islam got his title shot beating Bobby Green on a weak week's notice. Secondly, who else deserves the title shot? He beat Oliveira. Gaethje has won one fight, and apparently Arman's not getting the next title shot. Now, this came from TASS, which I'm not exactly sure what it is. I think it's some sort of Russian news site. But per Islam Makhachev's team, apparently, the quote says, Islam has not agreed to this fight. He maintains the position that Topuria needs to earn a title shot at 155, which is super surprising to me, seeing that Islam Makhachev is known to be the guy that is willing to take on anybody as a champion. The quote from Islam Makhachev, it has been glazed and hyped from everybody around, and I have, of course, been known to criticize this quote because I have pointed out that the only time this applies is short notice fights. Short notice Bobby Green, short notice Renato Moicano, short notice Alexander Volkanovski. A matter of fact, when he was called to fight Rafael Dos Anjos after coming off of a full training camp, taking no damage in his fight against Bobby Green, Islam declined the fight, even though he posted on Twitter saying he would. He was talking shit on Twitter, said he was down to fight, and when he got the call, he declined it. Dana White said it himself.
Until we even knew we had Islam, or thought we had Islam, Moicano was 100% the guy we wanted to go with.
There seems to be some controversy over why he didn't get this fight.
There's no controversy. Turn the fight down.
He said no.
No.
Okay.
So it just goes to show, if he does not take this Topuria fight, this is so hypocritical. And what I've been saying all along is that it's a lot easier for Islam Makhachev, a guy coming off of a 5-round training camp, to take a short notice opportunity against these guys coming off short notice. And look, I'm not trying to say Islam Makhachev is scared of anybody, but the fact that we're glazing him for fighting Renato Moicano on a day's notice, what else was he supposed to do? Sit out and say, yeah, you know what, guys, I'm not going to fight. That's ridiculous, right? It's easy to have the I'll fight anybody mentality when it's against short notice guys. However, I do want to say, guys, I don't think Islam Makhachev is scared of Ilia Topuria. My theory is that Islam doesn't like Ilia, right? I mean, there's been beef back and forth, you know, talking about street fights. To me, I think Islam Makhachev doesn't want to give Ilia Topuria an opportunity. I think he says, look, I don't like Ilia Topuria. You know, why should he fight me? Let me actually make him work. Let me make him sweat. That is if the quote is real, because I do have some doubts, because while many people are running with this, I always check the sources. I always try to check to find out to see if this is legit, and I could not find this article anywhere. So my theory is maybe this is real and I just can't find it. Maybe you guys can link it in the comment section below, or that this is a real quote, and this is a quote from a couple months ago. As I talked about before, Islam Makhachev has been saying this for a while. So could this just be an old quote being reused? Maybe the original poster just found the article and posted it. I'm not exactly sure, but my thing is this could be fake news. But as I said, Ilia is super dangerous, right? I mean, Ilia, he has knockout. I mean, the way he knocked out Volkanovski, he's the first person to knock out Max Holloway. But logically, thinking of his career, what his next move should be, I think he should have stayed at 145. But look, we're here in this situation, 155. Does he fight Islam Makhachev? What is my opinion, guys? If I were to bet anything, I would probably say yes. I think he's gonna fight Islam Makhachev. I can't imagine Islam Makhachev actually declining this fight, guys. Like, look, I understand what I said before about it's easy to have this mentality, but come on, guys. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think, you know, Islam is risking so much. This is a guy coming up in weight to fight him. Islam's a guy that's talked about going to 170, right? So if Islam went to 170, I mean, there's a 45-pound difference between them. On International Fight Week, I mean, this is going to be a big bag for Islam Makhachev, because it's definitely going to generate a lot of pay-per-views, that's for sure. Ilia definitely has a puncher's chance. I don't know who I'm going to pick. I'd probably pick Islam Makhachev if I'm going to be honest, even though I am a big Ilia Topuria fan myself. I just think Islam has looked unstoppable. The weight, I mean, the strength of Islam, I think it's going to cause a lot of problems from Ilia. But yeah, I'm most likely going to say that I think we're going to see Islam Makhachev, Ilia Topuria take place International Fight Week. Now, if Khamzat and DDP are on that card, I would be shocked, but honestly, maybe it makes sense. Maybe they do Pereira vs. Ankalaev for that Abu Dhabi card, and that's that. I don't know, guys. Thank you guys for watching. You guys are the best fan base in MMA. Check out my last video where we saw Conor McGregor getting booed in Dublin, Ireland. You guys are the best fan base in MMA. Hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and share, y'all, and I'll see you guys in the next one.